Yo, we've talked about the good. It's time to talk about the bad.
Thank
and
you,
the
man.
Ugly.
I was getting.
Let's go. Let's talk some shit.
I'm
tense talk
fucking
and being
down
nice to
get
everybody.
nice and gritty right now.
Nice and
I'm
gritty.
about it.
Let's do it. So
let's do it.
Talk about
We
some
should change the lighting in this place. That's
terrible,
yeah,
fucking
red light,
dark,
right?
right?
Just, you know,
like King coming.
Yeah, the 100%.
Some of the worst experiences you've had with wedding vendors. If you want to name them, no problem.
Wedding
we don't care.
Still hire me, but go on.
Wedding vendors themselves. All right. Talking about my wedding?
Your wedding
Might as well talk
or
about-
weddings.
I think wedding vendors.
Sure.
I'm only going to have a bad time at my own wedding if I'm going to have wedding vendors that are causing any issues. So, I mean, so my girl or my wife,
She's your wife now, bro.
She's my
both?
wife. My bad. She's not my girl, but she's my wife.
Speaking from a married
Yeah.
man, trust me, she's your wife now.
Yeah. She was like, hey, I want to hire X people and X people and blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to mention your name. I'm like, yeah, don't. I'm like in my head, I was like, why the fuck? Like, why mention my name? If you want to, you can. If you don't feel like it, don't do it.
As she was sourcing the vendors.
Yeah. Because she's like, I don't want to have like that thing. Like if people are going to book, they're going to book. And I feel like she was in the same boat as the rest of the brides where they're like, these are corporate Fortune 500 companies that are just going to take the inquiry and put it in and make it happen and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Did not happen that way. She had people cancel on her, like last minute cancel on her. And she's like, I can't believe people are like this in your industry. I'm like, yeah, no one gives a fuck in our industry. If they find a better price tag, they're taking it. Yeah. If they find more clout, they're taking it. And I'm like, that's the saddest thing about our industry. And I feel like I value myself in that. I'm 99% sure, and I'm saying this and I'm thinking about all my clients at the same time.
Yep.
I'm 99% sure I have not taken a booking over another client. I actually had a client that thought I took I thought I took Parmisha's wedding over their wedding, and I actually did not. It just happened to be around the same timeline, but it actually didn't happen, which is crazy. And so yeah, like my thing is, if you're gonna say yes to someone, say yes to the client. If you're gonna back out of the client, give them a reason why you're backing out. Not blacking out.
Absolutely.
Like give them a proper ass reason of why they're backing out of that, gig. Don't just back out of a gig just cause.
There's not that transparency, right? Like a lot of people just lie, bold-faced lie, because as you said, it's about the bag or it's about the clout.
100%, which I'm not down with.
No, not at all. I've definitely had more fun gigs that I've turned down because the contract came after.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I saw my contract. I'm promised to your big day, your wedding day. I could be in Mexico right now doing a gig, but no, you know what? I have the wedding, 2 weddings here.
I had a wedding where I'm going to keep this very vague. I had a wedding where...
You can go in. You know that. This is a safe space.
It's like, it's so easy to connect the dots. I don't even want to do that. Like, I'm going to do it where people are going to know.
Okay.
Someone on our team had a death in the family, and that death led to me having to DJ that wedding.
Okay.
I DJ that wedding, and I had there was a bride and groom, and the groom came up and apologized for the fact that not apologize, but so sad to hear. Bride did not. Bride kept it mad service level.
Okay.
And I'm there I'm serving a purpose. I'm there. There's shit that happens in life that you cannot control. It's not in your control whatsoever. And that happened. And after that date, I was like, there are people in this world that can't think about other people than themselves. It's insane. And I will never, ever understand that.
You know what, man? There's 80% of the people out there are 99.9% occupied with themselves. Like us being vendors, we don't see it because at the end of the day, we're trying to execute on a couple's vision. But a lot of people don't give a fuck at the end of the day. What can you say, right?
No, that's straight up.
If you talk about groomzillas and bridezillas,
yes, right? Let's talk about them.
Groomzilla, bridezillas. I don't mind them. I don't mind groomzillas and bridezillas if everything is dotted and T'd to the correct point where they have everything organized. Usually bridezillas, groomzillas have planners, and I can usually deal with the planner and I'm good.
Yeah.
But when there's a bridezilla, groomzilla that does not understand certain common sense items, such as whether it's death in the family to fucking, you might want rock music, but your
No one
crowd
else in the
wants
crowd
Desi.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your crowd wants Desi music. Like there's a disconnect between you and the crowd. You might be picking up the bill, but you're paying for fucking 500 people that want Desi ass music.
Yep.
You got to understand who's coming to your wedding. You can't invite 500 guys who are truck drivers and you who listens to fucking Rolling
Brian
Stones.
Adams, baby.
Yeah, Brian Adams,
Summer
and
of
expect
69.
that to be the night, which I have had once in my life. I had one guy who said, yo, trust me, my crowd is 100% 80s crowd. Grand Victorian, forgot the guy's name. He's fucking
Hall and
ill.
Oates banging.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, I want New Order. I want everything. I'm like, I got you. It was October 31st. It was Halloween. And he's like, trust me, this is going to be a party that you remember. I'm like, all right, cool.
You do.
Started playing Desi music, started doing whatever. I still didn't believe him 100%. And then like 2 minutes later, he's like, he looks at me. He's like, and I'm like, all right, cool. Started playing 80s music. Dance floor rammed beyond belief. I was like, yo, holy Bon Jovi to fucking New Order
To Blondie.
to everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
I had a fusion wedding last year where half was Punjabi and the other half was, I think, Italian.
Yeah.
And a brown uncle came up to me and he goes, I need Bon Jovi. And I went, excuse me? I was like, yo, because every time at fusion wedding, always the biggest problem is,
Yeah.
how do you balance? Like,
Yeah,
who
it's a
wants
tough
what?
balance.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want the Bon Jovi? No problem. I
Yeah.
went over to the DJ. I'm like, yo, what's up? This guy wants Bon Jovi. Even his face was like, all right, let's do it. Whole family rushed the dance floor
Yeah.
like nothing. Like they're like, we don't need the Bollywood music. We don't need the Punjabi music. We need this right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. Do your chicken. And then it got into the chicken dance, the YMCA. They went full like Gora crowd. And I was like, all right, whatever you guys like, we'll make it happen.
Best crowd I ever had was half Punjabi, half Jewish. And I was like, and it was at Bombay Palace. And I remember both the bride and groom on the dance floor. And the groom looks at me, or I think it was a groom. Pretty sure the groom looks at me. He comes over to me. He's like, yo, Oppa, I need you to do like the fucking pick up the girl in the chair. And they gave me the song. I don't even fuck knows what the song is. And they picked up the bride and they picked up the groom and they made the whole thing happen. I saw every Punjabi leave their fucking seat and just be involved with this. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Jump in, right?
Jump
'Cause it's
in.
a whole new experience.
Nuts.
And that's what I love about these fusion weddings, right?
Yeah. Family weddings that like a good time, that's a blast.
Yeah.
The biggest piss off is when nobody's there for a good time. I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait, nobody's here to dance, nobody's here to drink. I'm like, what the hell is the point of this?
Yeah.
And then literally like dance floor opens, 70% of the crowd leaves. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for leaving at least courteously on time. The crowd that tries to stick around and show face, we're not here for you.
No.
Like if you're just there to like eat food, be angry, like do that shit at home.
Yeah.
I absolutely despise people who are like, it's a wedding. Have fun. Like, why are you here to be a sour fucking grapes?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
100%.
Okay, so still, we talked about from your wedding, JJ, what you would experience or what Raman experienced, actually, your bride, from a vendor perspective. But what about as a vendor yourself? What vendors have you dealt with? And again, you can name names if you want to.
No.
You don't have to, but talk about some shitty experiences, man. Let's hear the dirt. That's why people are here. They want to hear that dirt.
I think the biggest issue was in there.
Oh, it's going to blow up the internet. Let's go, baby.
I don't know about blow up the internet, but people aren't going to like this. But I feel like the biggest issue is the type of planner you hire. Okay. I'm saying that very strategically. Like, there's planners who I love. Shout out Sonia Mungat.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's planners who I hate. Shout out nobody.
Smart man.
You know what I mean?
I'm clipping that.
There's planners. Like, there's great planners and there's shitty planners. And I love really good planners. Like, to me, the shittiest planners are... Actually, let's talk about the greatest planners, then I'll go into the shittiest planners. Yep. Greatest planners are the ones that think about the bride and groom, the guest count, and the vendors. How can we make all three work strategically together and make this event happen so that everyone's having a good time? Then there's the planners that only care about the bride and groom and realize that... don't realize that without... Like, yeah, you could say yeah to the bride and groom, but like... what else is going to happen throughout the night? If they say, yeah, do this, do it right now, I want to get this party going, and XYZ isn't ready, or the guests are fucking half on the taking a shit and the other half are outside friggin' drinking, like, what are you really going to do? There's no vibe inside. And I think that importance is overlooked. They do it for the dollar value of what the bride and groom want compared to what's better for the actual event. And I think the event makes way more sense where you talk to, hey, vendors, are you guys ready to go? Boom. All right, cool. Yeah. Do you guys want to make this happen? Yeah, let's try to incorporate that. Let's try to do this. Let's try to get these guys involved. Let's try to make it a good event. Whereas for them, for certain planners, it's a very cash grab and please the bride and groom.
100%. I have every gig I ever do, I sit down with the bride and groom. And if they bring up an idea to me that I don't think is good, hey, 100%, you're the bride and groom. I'll do it for you. But here are the negatives.
Yeah.
You're not getting your crowd involved. You're isolating people. For MCs, and I know Anuj can attest to this, we don't necessarily always like dance-offs.
No.
Like, they fucking suck.
If your dance floor is good,
yes.
You say, JJ.
If your dance floor is live, fuck
Leave it
the
the
dance
fuck alone.
floor. Dance
Praise
off.
Jesus.
Fuck it.
Come on, stop it. Like,
but if your dance floor sucks, yes.
Yes.
That's
bring on the fucking dance
It is
off.
a
I'm
tool
down.
that we use to uplift the dance floor
100%.
when it's needed. It doesn't mean your event was bad. It doesn't mean that means maybe your guests drank too little, so they're all at the bar at one
100%.
point. Or hey, they're outside getting pictures, and the
Or
dance battle is just to get them
auntie,
outside.
uncles, they get tired. They're sitting on the side. They're watching everyone just go, okay, but they're having a good time. Good,
Exactly.
good. That's it.
it's good.
And then when I explain that to them, they're usually receptive to the idea.
Yeah.
Not all of them are. They're like, we still want to do it because they're dancers.
Because these
whatever
dance off
they are.
videos go viral on TikTok and on Reels, and it's crazy because there's a certain segment, people who maybe do the same job as me and Navi, that just keep posting his dance off. Yo, fam, what does a dance off have to do with you?
Yeah.
Nothing as an MC, but yo, it's gonna get 10 million views, so I'm gonna post that no matter what because that's clout.
That's
what
my
you were
biggest.
saying.
Actually, that's my biggest beef in the industry is social media talents.
Yeah.
Like, I suck at social media. I say that
same.
outright all the time.
You're the best one on the team for social media. You've been hooking up everybody.
I'll make my weakness as my strength. That's that. But it's one of those things where it's like, yo, before I have the mic in my hand. You want me to walk around my phone and record? That's not happening.
No.
That's my actual talent. If I record a dance off, that's not me doing me.
No.
That's just like, all right,
That's other people
3,
doing
2,
them.
1, and then record the bride and groom dancing. No show my talent, but again, guests don't know that. They see the footage and they're like, cool, I want that at my
That's
wedding.
the social media world, man.
But the reality is, you just killed a 500-person dance floor.
But that, and I'm going to go into something else,
Yeah.
but like it relates to that, is one of the biggest things is quantity versus quality. So you have quantity MCs and you have quality MCs. You have quantity DJs, quality DJs. And what I mean by that is the guys who are down to take $200 gigs and they'll do 1,000 of them just to be on the internet, or the guys who will do 15, 20, 40 gigs, but they're fucking high-end clientele, high-end everything, and everything kind of makes sense for that. But we're tailored to that bride and groom.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to a bride and groom, I'm super intuitive, two, like talking to the client saying, what is it that you actually want? Like, what are you looking for? And a client that sends, I always feel like a client that sends me a proper list of what they want, I'm more engaged with that client because I'm like, okay, this is what they're actually looking for. Whereas a client that's seen me before, they just say, hey, do it up. They're doing it. Like, they're like, yo, do it up. I'm like, all right, cool. I forgot where I was going before this.
While you think on that, though, we still haven't talked about your worst vendor experiences. Let's hear about the shit,
Worst
the
vendor?
grime, man. When have you had to just take control of a party because, and we may mention
Somebody
them, we may
else
not.
dropped
Yeah,
the
someone
This was a
dropped the
planner.
ball, right?
This was 100% planner. We were at, am I going to say where it is? Yeah. We were at Grand Victorian and there's certain planners around and the planner comes up and says, hey, we need XYZ on the dance floor. Sparklers on the dance floor.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a good idea. Don't put sparklers on the dance floor. People trip over them. There's too many tables close to the dance floor. Please don't do that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
Respect.
Majority are she's anyways. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
He or she, that's fine.
Oh, yo, if you got a male wedding planner, that's rare.
There are a few, so you know.
So-
I'm not saying they're worse.
She's like, yo, like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, just put it on the dance floor. I'm like, all right, cool. But you have to sign off on it because we are not signing off on this. What happens 2 minutes later? BB falls.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? BB falls. And we're like, yo, we said, don't fucking put the shit on the dance floor. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Then And the person says something so fucking dumb. Goes, don't you have those wireless things where the smoke just comes out? I'm like, what smoke? This is not smoke. These are sparklers. They're fucking fireworks. Smoke doesn't come out of these fucking things. And I felt stupid. And I felt bad for the auntie. I was like, yo, like that shouldn't have happened. That literally should not have happened. And it happened.
Yeah.
And there's no way of controlling that because you have to, when you have a non-technical person dealing with something that is technical, you can't fucking do anything. You have to literally talk to that person, which is talking to a brick wall, talking to a bride and groom, which may or may not understand because they don't understand the complexities of what we're dealing with.
Of course.
That's where I feel like sometimes MCs play a big fucking role is please stay the fuck away from these big ass boxes that look like tables.
Yeah.
Don't trip on them.
If I have entrances that have like, especially groomsmen, bridesmaids, where there's multiple people, hey, there's these black boxes on your one job. I don't care what you do. Don't touch those.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you want to mess up the bride and groom's entrance? No. Cool. Just don't touch them.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Since we're talking about sparklers and fireworks, there was a picture of yourself, Sidhu Musiala, rest in peace, Jasmine Sandalis, and I believe Prophecy.
Yeah.
That kind of blew up the whole Punjabi music industry, I'll say, because you're a very humble dude. A few years ago, can you speak on that picture? What happened? Like, what was going on? Like, what came out of it?
It's in Chandigarh. I cannot remember the studio for the life of me. Right. But
shout out to them. We'll edit it.
That studio was legit. Best studio in India or in Chandigarh. So we went there, and I booked out that studio for like 2 weeks, I think. While I'm there, Prophecy's like, yo, do you have the studio booked out? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, can I bring Sidhu through? I'm like, I'm going to work on some shit with him. I'm like, yeah, 100%. Of course. I'll get Sidhu.
Exactly.
And so I have two studios. I have a big studio, small studio. And him and Sidhu are in the small studio with their guys. So I went to go say what's up to them, and we chilled for a bit. And then he's like, yo, I'm like, yo, Jasmine and them are in the other room. If you want, like, Jasmine and Pav are working on some shit. He's like, yeah, we'll go say hi. So they worked on their shit. They came over, and then Jasmine's like, yo, let's take a picture together. And then they're like, yeah, sure. All right, cool. Let's make it happen. And it was one big ass fucking random picture that you would never have seen unless we were just all sitting in the studio together.
And in India, not in Canada, right? Jasmine, I mean, she's kind of LA, she's kind of Canada. Chandigarh.
Yeah.
But
Chandigarh, LA, Bakersfield.
She comes back and forth. Yeah. You are Toronto, Sidhu is Canada, Prophecy's Calgary, Edmonton.
Yeah.
Right? Like Pav's Australia, but yeah, all of you guys.
Well, me and Pav made a thing. We're like, yo, let's go to India and let's fucking make this happen. Like, let's just work.
That's sick.
And he was about it.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Is that where you guys made funk?
No, we made funk in Toronto with Prophecy and Pav first, and then Fateh. Prophecy wrote or composed like half of it, and then Pav sang the other half of it, and then Fateh was on it.
All right, there you go.
Random.
That's wild.
Crazy.
That's cool things where like, oh, I look at it, I'm like, I just looked at the picture, I'm like, what ridiculous nonsense. But it was just like, no, we're all just working right next to each other. And a bunch of people were making banger after banger. And they're just like, all right, cool, we're next door. Let's take a picture together.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Pav for making the controversial tag.
Yeah.
It's history, but are we going to hear songs out of that? Are there unreleased tracks with Sidhu?
Yeah, there's so many. Oh, well, I know Prophecy and Sidhu have a couple of songs already. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have a couple of songs that they've already worked on. I don't know if they're finished or not.
Okay.
But they were definitely vibing out to some shit while they were there that day.
And what about yourself? Do you have some stuff on your hard drive behind you here?
From
as we're in your studio.
Yeah.
Do you have some stuff from Sidhu?
Not like that I've worked on for production. I'm never going to say that. But
okay.
He recorded Prophecy Sone Lagde at our old studio.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure he's recorded a couple, like 1-2 other things. I recorded some shit at that studio in Chandigarh too. And that's it.
So a lot of production talk. The big picture blew up the whole Punjabi industry. What are your thoughts or your feelings, or what is the song that leaked that kind of fucked you over? Like, talk about that whole process, man.
Song that leaked that fucked me over.
Because I know a couple. I couldn't mention them. I know there's been some songs that have leaked. Like,
yeah, tell me.
Well, there was one with a guy who's going to perform at the Junos maybe today, right now.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
Let's talk about that. Can we say his name?
Yeah.
AP Dhillon. There you go.
You know what? I've been thinking about this recently, and their music is undeniable. You can't fucking hate on it.
Yeah.
It's worldwide. It's doing its thing. Got fucking Junos, like that's crazy. And then a Punjabi guy at the Junos, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That's
Big
amazing to
respect
see.
that.
It's honestly amazing to see. He did that. He threw a pitch out at Jay's game too.
Back to the actual track. What was the name of the track? How did it leak?
So the name
And
of the
what
track
was your-
wasn't actually one.
Okay.
How we ended up meeting, I heard him off of actually Deep Jundu started following him.
Shout out Deep. If we're
Deep.
going to
It's a great-
shout out
yeah.
people here.
And
There
then
we
Deep,
go.
I saw him following him. I was like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? And I started following him too. And I heard Top Boy. I'm like, yo, this is a banger. Like, I got to hit this fucking guy up. Hit him up. I was like, this guy has something that like no one else has. And we started working. I sent him a couple beats, sent him whatever. He sent back something on Idol. The song is called Idol.
Okay.
He sent back something on Idol. I was like, yo, this is a fucking banger. 100% certified banger.
Yeah.
And I personally am a huge fan of Straight Bank.
Yes.
Straight Bank is a rapper from New York, Punjabi
City.
rapper from New York, and he's just too ill. I was like, yo, do you mind if I put Straight Bank on? He's like, yo, I'm down. Let's listen to it. And so I put him on. He's down. He does it. I send it back. Everything's good.
So was AP ever in the studio in Toronto, or was it
Never.
all
We were always
cross
talking
country?
on WhatsApp.
Okay.
And so that shit happens. Everything's good. And then I think he comes out with he sent me a song to mix. I didn't mix it to his standards or whatever it was.
Okay.
And like whatever he wanted. So he got a mix from someone else. Something else happened. He ended up putting that song out. So he gets more recognition. So I think shit's bubbling there. Like there's an AP name that's bubbling.
Yeah.
He starts getting management. That shit's bubbling. And then shortly after that, slapped.
Leak.
Like sound effects for days. Everything's cut. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm confused by it. So to me, by that, I was like, and shit did get leaked. Don't get me wrong. Like stuff went somewhere. It went all over the fucking place. I don't know where the fuck it was. I don't know who leaked it. I wish I knew who leaked it. I got songs on this fucking computer for days. Diljit to like Harjeet Harman to Guttin to fucking Sidhu to everybody.
Yeah.
There's not a single thing on this computer that I do not have. So for me, it's like, why would I leak a song for a guy who at that point wasn't an A level? He was like a B level artist. Like, why would I leak it? It doesn't really mean anything to me. Yeah. But now you're looking at it, you're like, all right, so they were very protective over a guy who they knew who was going to be big. But for me, it was like, how do you not trust the fact that I'm not going to leak something when I have so much other shit on my computer?
So you have more unreleased
I have so much
AP
shit,
Dhillon.
man.
Yeah.
No, I
think
so
we should
much
release
shit.
it right now.
No.
Right here, live on the mic check. No.
There's more shit on there, and he probably doesn't even remember it. That's the funny part. He's probably got like 4,000 songs in the bank. Like he's at that point. He's got it. It's not even a question. But there's so much shit on so many people's computers who have worked with massive artists or small artists. Like so many guys have come to the studio that I forget, and we have all their shit.
Yeah.
But is it ever going to get leaked? No, I have no internet access on this computer, and I'm not going to have
that's
any.
amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
If I'm working with someone, I'm not letting my fucking internet ever be exposed because you can't.
So speak on some of the names who've come through this studio, exactly where we are today.
Man.
Oh, come on, man.
In this studio alone,
This studio.
I can't say anything, but like
You can say
between
it,
the
JJ.
two studios, everybody.
All right.
Just Dhillon to Gur Sidhu to Sidhu to Guttin to who are the big guys? I don't even know.
I heard Tory
Jasmine,
Lanez
Tory Lanez
was in the studio.
We did that with Sunny Diamonds in Toronto.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And that was for the song Chauffeur.
yeah. So me, KSR, and KSR's cousin Padli, who has the connect with Tory Lanez, was like, yo, Tory's down to work. Like, he just wants a bag. We're like, cool, we got the bag. No stress. Let's make it happen. Yep. Showed him like 15 beats. He's like, yo, I like this one. I'm like, all right, cool. He chose the Chamkila beat, which I'm fucking down.
we go.
Crazy, right?
Down
How
about
art
it. Huh?
how art goes through communities.
Yeah. And 100%.
Right.
And the fact that he chose the Chamkila beat, that made me fucking beyond happy.
Right?
And so Tory starts spinning, and he's got a gig that day in Rebel. And he's like, fuck that, ain't going nowhere. I'm finishing this goddamn song. Once I finish it, then I'll dip. He's like, yo, but please, I asked one thing. Release the song ASAP. What did we do? Not release the song ASAP.
Oh, why not?
We were always looking for an artist that could do justice to the song.
Okay.
And we felt like someone that we were always looking for couldn't do it. It always became desi.
Yeah.
And so like years went by. I think it was like fucking 4 or 5 years went by.
Wow.
And then Ikwinder started rolling up on the map. And then I started connecting with people. And then he started getting connected with people through those people. And he ended up getting connected with Diljit. Long-winded fucking connections. But he's talented beyond belief. So he ended up getting connected with Diljit. And he's like, yo, I know you guys have that song.
How did he know though?
Huh? Because I've showed him. Whenever you're in the studio, you always show off. You have to show off.
Definitely. You got to
show off.
on.
Oh, you're a must watch?
You show off some up and that's part of it, right?
There you go.
So he's like, yo, I know you guys got that Diljit, that Tory Lanez song. What if I just take it and I'll make it happen? And I'll get Diljit on it. Fuck yeah, I ain't saying no to that. That's
of course
money in our pocket. I'll fuck it down. That's if we're looking for someone to make it happen, that's bigger than the level that we would be able to make it happen.
for sure.
And he did it, made it happen, and that's it. Now
Diljit is like such a level of just like
Different level.
what doesn't he do that's great? Whether it be movies or music.
Yeah.
That's such an awesome guy. Even I was like watching the music video, I'm like, this is kind of surreal.
That music video threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. That music video was fucking weird.
Why, JJ? Why was it weird?
I'm looking at Tory Lanez. I'm like, yes. I'm looking at Diljit. I'm like, nah. I don't know. It just doesn't fit with. It doesn't fit with me.
Too many Versace
It doesn't
shirts.
feel. It doesn't feel authentic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas like there's levels of authenticity which I feel like should be played in this industry, and I feel like sometimes they're not played very well. So I didn't see the video fitting, but the idea was bigger than the video.
Yeah. No, that's what I was just seeing them next to each other in a music video. I was like,
Huge.
Oh, that's
This
big
is
for all of us,
fine.
right?
Huge for everybody.
End of the day, it shows Toronto's strength and the Punjabi music
100%.
community / the Punjabi community's strength and where we are, right? Not only do we have that track, there was a track with YG and Karan Aujla as well, right?
Huge.
Gangster,
Huge.
right?
Guttin knows what he likes.
Yeah.
He listens to certain artists. He knows who he wants on
I feel like
on his
he's
song.
West Coast rap, just
100%.
Yeah,
But he loves his East Coast shit too. He's not like a hater towards it. He loves it, but like they grew up on West Coast.
yeah.
Like at their events, at wedding events, they still play all West Coast shit.
no,
Legit.
but the that crazy kind of like even like Burna Boy giving Sidhu shout outs.
Yo,
He's
there's so many stories to that, and I'm telling you, I wish I could talk on this.
Talk on it,
I
JJ.
can't because that's.
Are we gonna have to do a part 3? Come on.
I'm telling you, just await whatever
All right.
Burna Boy's doing.
Have you heard the songs?
No, I have not, and I do not want to listen to the songs. I was asked to listen to the song, and I said, I said yeah, but do I want to? No, I kind of want to hear it when it comes out. But there is some crazy shit in the works with a lot of producers. Fuck, how do I say this without being fucking direct?
Artists?
Our producers
Be direct.
are working with people and influencing sounds with our older generation that works with the current generation. That's how I'm going to say it. It's so legit. It's so crazy. And when it comes out, just know it's fucking going to
Change the game.
So
it's well,
from the
it's
mouth
gonna
of
make us
J-Statik.
feel nostalgic.
Yeah, from the mouth of J-Statik, just wait for what's coming and be excited for all the shit
Our
that's
industry is gonna do numbers on numbers on numbers because honestly, because Sidhu fucking did some shit.
Left a trail.
Oh,
man.
He left a huge trail.
Huge.
He's
trail,
one of
man.
those artists where touch the game for even a second and he changed the whole thing.
Yeah. He
How
was
did-
so far fetched that you couldn't even connect with the guy until after he passed.
How did you feel when you heard the news of him?
Yo,
passing?
I was on a flight to Vegas. It was me, my wife, and her 2 best friends. And I never checked my phone. I think everyone knows that.
We all know that,
We've alluded to
JJ.
that on this
Zero checking my
podcast.
phone. I check my phone, and Deep sends me a message. He's like, yo, Sidhu's dead. I'm like, no, not a chance.
don't
Like
believe
that
it.
doesn't make any sense. This is rumor 100%. go on Instagram, come back, I get the videos. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, man, stop sharing those videos on WhatsApp, please.
He sends it, and I went off of WhatsApp. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like I told Raman, my wife, and I'm like, yo, Sidhu passed. She's like, not a chance. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, footage is here. And I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, I'm not a guy who's worked with him day in, day out.
But you've had those moments though, right?
But the moments I've had have lasted this long where I still idolize those moments. You know what I mean? Like that, those are moments. Like Aagi Hoi Bilo Time, that song that Deep came out with, Sidhu wrote that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like I remember vividly Deep coming to the studio talking about that song. He's like, yo, I got this guy, he wrote it. I'm like, cool. I heard the lyrics, and this is the first time I think in my life I turned to Deep and I was like, yo, who the fuck wrote this? And he's like, some guy, Sidhu Moosewala or something.
Sheridan College.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, this guy can fucking write. And he's like,
facts.
Yeah, you think he's that good? I'm like, he's that good. And, a couple months later, fucking So High, It's a Jut, all that shit comes out. You're like, yo, what the fuck? This guy's nuts.
He blew up, man. Like,
nuts.
One of my biggest regrets was there was a show at Rebel, huge Punjabi show. Obviously, you were there, SP, DJ M, KSR, and like obviously you invited a few of the guys to come, and I didn't come through that day, and that would have been my only opportunity in life to meet
Share the stage.
And I fucked up that day. One of the biggest regrets of my life, to be honest, because everyone met him that day, and they still talk about it to this day. Like Mani talks about it like it was like a godly DJM, a godly experience. And
it was.
I fucked up not going that day. Like it's a regret. I legitimately
he was supposed
to
perform at a wedding, like because he was close with the groom, designer dance floors, Harpreet.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's like, oh, yo, Sidhu might come through, but flights, this and that. And I'm like,
wow.
I just sat there, I'm emceeing. I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to meet this guy. And then, unfortunately things, I think his flight got delayed or something. It was sort of just like happens kind of situation. I didn't get another shot after that. I was like, oh man.
He got to that stage so quickly where Diljit is now, where I feel through the connections because of all of you guys, we can meet
it's not
anyone in the industry.
I swear to God, it's not even on that level.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Diljit is massive in India. Sidhu is like, when I mean massive, like there ain't no coming close to how big this guy was.
Yeah.
Like huge, beyond belief huge. Like,
and the fact that he spread to all these different, like the urban industry.
When you can feel a guy's music based off of his fucking vocals, you don't know what he's saying. Like Gali didn't know what he was saying.
No idea,
but when you can feel what the fuck he's saying, based off of what he's singing, based off you don't know the fact of what he's fucking talking about. I think
he was in Jake Paul's story for his lead up to the Tommy
fight,
Fury fight. Where he's like, yo, for my India viewers, it'll be here, this and that. And Jake Paul's like in a car and Sidhu's song is playing. I can't remember what song exactly off the top of it.
No, that was it? It was in the Paul Mocha song. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was in the Paul Mocha song.
And Chunni.
Yeah. Chunni
song.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the style is the same from that whole vein of Sidhu and whatnot. But crazy impact at the end of the day. You've built this whole brand, Frequency Entertainment, man. Speak on that. Where you started from, 3 people to this, we got 30 DJs, 7 MCs, 100 techs. How did this happen?
Consistency, good vibes, and just people wanting to grow with us. Honestly, I think one of the first guys that we were after was Manit and
DJM.
Yeah, DJM. We're like, yo, are you down? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I'm getting offered by this. I'm getting offered by that. We're like, yo, all right, see what it is. Like, if you're about it, let's come through. And then I think it was a week later, he's like, yo, fucking, I'm down. And he came through. And I think he's one of the biggest blessings to the new age of DJs. A lot of people look up to M, whereas a lot of the guys in Manit's age group were looking up to us. Yeah. So it's a whole vibe of people that have just come through. And then we took some other people from Empire too.
DJ SP, and, October's very own. Come on.
And then, no, we didn't take him though. He was down. He wanted to come through. And, that was huge. The fact that people want to come through because they want to expand their brands. I think that's a huge thing. I think if you see that opportunity in a company, you're only doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for you're not doing it for Frequency's benefit. You're doing it for your own benefit. If you're doing it for your own benefit that works, you work with us. Like, it helps us. So
did you ever envision Frequency to get to the point where it is today?
Nah. Like, I did, but not how big it is right now. Like, not a chance how big it is right now.
Oh, as well. We were talking
to
about
own a building.
Camera.
Like,
yeah.
Yo, we were renting for Automatic Road. Fucking
bless
shout
the
out
old
Automatic
studio.
Road, bro.
Yes, Automatic
Like, we were
Road.
on that shit for ages.
Oh, man.
And then we were renting another place. And then me and Kamal just talked. We're like, yo, we should just buy a place. Are you down? And he's like, yeah, I'm down. Let's make it happen.
Yo, but speaking of Automatic Road, that's where the Frequency and Friends podcast, since we're starting our podcast over here, I do want to touch on it.
Did it start there?
It did start there. You don't remember it starting over there?
Oh, sorry. 6645.
6645.
That's where it started.
But still not this building today.
No.
That's where the Frequency and Friends podcast started.
Yeah.
What was the moment when the podcast blew up, when you guys knew this was something substantial?
There was no actual real moment. It's been slow progression the whole time through. But it's when other podcasts started rising. That's when we started seeing like, yo, we're actually making an impact, regardless of the stardom or like who's coming into the podcast. The fact that podcasts were being done about Punjabi music, that's a huge thing. Now, we took our thing from BBC and all these other fucking radio shows, but we wanted to do a thing which was very open, loose format, talk about music, talk about the artist, talk about general instances where they want to expand what they're talking about. And I think that is a platform where even guys like Jazzy, who probably had no idea what the fuck was going on, showed up in a, track
Grizzlies
pants.
jersey, right?
Yeah, like just sat there and just vibed. And he's like, all right, this is, you guys are more thought out than we thought you were going to be. Like, you guys actually know what you're talking about. And went from, oh, this is going to be whatever, to, oh, shit, this is something. Shout out to Harj Nagra for looking that up.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously, like, as we've talked, the connects have happened. As you've touched on, producing these tracks, being around these people in the studio sessions. Obviously, we're starting our podcast under the Frequency brand.
Yeah.
What we wanted to touch on was, who do you think, as our last segment here, that you would DM right now, that you could DM?
Yeah.
That we should.
Oh, we could DM anybody. So you tell me.
All right. Have you enjoyed your experience on the mic check tonight?
Obviously.
Okay. So if you have, who do you think is going to fit Navi and Anuj and would be a good guest on the next episode of the mic check?
So you tell me one.
Oh, man.
What?
Man, he's coming back at us.
I have to come back at you because I want to know, what is it that you're trying to portray in this pod? Like, what if you were to narrow this podcast down in one sentence, what are you trying to show?
One sentence. Marketing guy, go ahead. I
would peel back the curtain for people that don't usually peel it back. Like, you're on Frequency and Friends, but that's usually about the guest.
Yeah.
And even yourself, like, you're usually like, yo, I don't need to talk shit. I need to do things. You just do yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you were kind of like our ideal first guest. I'm like, obviously, being one of the heads of Frequency, us being a part of the team, but that whole like, hey, let's just like look behind the curtain a little bit, talk a little shit. Fuck it. Like, why not?
We're not trying to be super positive here, right?
No, man. Yeah,
It's about real conversations. Yeah. And that's what we want. We want authentic people on this podcast to have a good time with us, have some drinks, enjoy themselves, and we get to learn more about them that we knew before the podcast. Yeah. But we want to thank everyone for joining in. It's been an incredible experience with the one and only J-Statik here in his house, Studio 2, Frequency Entertainment, the #1 studio in North America for all Punjabi music. Navi, what you got to say?
Thanks for joining us. Thank you, J-Statik. Which is kind of weird because we always call you JJ.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
JJ sounds way better.
Thank you, JJ, for joining us on the inaugural episode of the Mic Check. Tune in every time we have an awesome guest because we're just going to come here, kick it, have a good time.
And the conversations are always paid in full. Let's go.
Mic check, 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.